Welcome back to my weekly Power Rangers Beast Morphers review. This time it's Finders Keepers, the first part in the Dino Team-Up. This was a bit of a surprise, as everyone kind of expected the Dino Team-Up to just be one episode, though looking back the title Finders Keepers should have been a bit of a giveaway, but it's still a nice surprise. Especially since the Dino Team-Up itself will feel like an anniversary special with tons of Rangers, while this episode is a little bit more reminiscent of the classic PR team-ups of just one team meeting another, which we haven't really had since SPD, believe it or not. It's great to see the main 6 Dino Charge Rangers back, even though Shelby and Riley don't appear outside of voiceover, presumably because they had prior commitments and couldn't fly to New Zealand for filming, or maybe they just didn't want to. Is it just me, or did anyone else not realize how weird Keeper as a whole, but more specifically his eyes, look until this episode? Whatever. Anyone keeping up with the Sentai knew that Snide was probably going to come back this season for the Dino Team-Up, but bringing back the rest of the Dino Charge villains was a nice surprise, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing all of them in the actual Dino Team-Up. The episode starts out with the Rangers finding Ryjack's ship and Zoe blowing it up by walking into the ship? Why would a ship's first attempt to protect itself from an intruder be to blow itself up? Especially if it's holding valuable weapons and devices. Whatever. So then it blows up and they find Keeper, and then they say that they recognize Keeper from Ranger History class. Ranger History class? Look, that's a fine plot device, I'm not blaming that or saying it's weird, it's Power Rangers for Pete's sake. What I'm saying is that these are the same Rangers that have proven over the past few episodes that they don't know about Xenowing, Putty Patrollers, Power Rangers RPM, Vivix, or that monsters can grow, and now they have been taking Ranger History classes? They must be flunking. Either that, or they just started a Ranger History class between episodes and just happened to start with Dino Charge for some reason. I can picture Commander Shaw last episode just saying, "Jesus Christ, these teenagers don't know that monsters can grow? Someone start up a Ranger History class so they know what they're doing." Further showing their incompetence, they don't immediately take the compliance collar off of Keeper and instead leave it on long enough for him to get kidnapped. Why? Well, plot convenience, my dear Watson. In this episode, we also see some more inconsistencies that I mentioned earlier in this series, in the ray that Ryjack used to bring back monsters. Once again, it doesn't randomly change the color of whomever it brings back to life like it did with Vargoyle, and while Snide and Sledge come back through weapons they left behind, the Triptoids, which come back but aren't really mentioned, apparently don't need to. We don't see the rest of Sledge's crew get revived, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't get why they would make rules and then just break them. Would it have been so hard to make it more consistent? The past few episodes have been good, but it's just little things like this that make me shake my head. Just little lazy things that could have easily been fixed with a little thought. But let's talk about something this episode did well. So, something that I think goes very underappreciated in Power Rangers is matching up the locations between the Sentai footage and American footage. Back in MMPR, they would barely try at all, and unless it was a generic looking beach, they just wouldn't try to set any American footage in the same place as the Sentai footage in order to just kind of avoid having to do that. But in recent years, Power Rangers has started embracing that, and they'll find locations that look just like the ones in the Sentai, or build sets that look like the ones in the Sentai in order to match up and make the transition between Japanese and American footage less noticeable. In this episode is a great example where the set, lighting, and even camera angles of the American footage in the warehouse fight scene match up perfectly with the Japanese footage. Just something I thought I'd mention. So overall, it's really nice to see these old characters again, both the Rangers and the villains. Hearing Sledge yell, "It's a bomb!" and just hearing the Dino Charge Rangers talking brings a level of nostalgia to me personally. I mean, sure, there's only one team separating the Dino Charge team from the Beast Morphers team, but at this point, it's been about 4 years since we last saw the Dino Charge Rangers and villains together. At the end, Zoe learns her lesson, which feels really forced and shoehorned in, like they had a lesson quota for the season that they had to meet or something. Then, the Dino Charge Rangers go back to their dimension, but Keeper stays. Why don't the Dino Charge Rangers stay? Their old villains are back, so don't they feel some kind of responsibility to help out? I mean, from an in-universe standpoint, shouldn't they stay if for no reason other than the amount of threats that Grid Battle Force has to face has literally just doubled? And from a writing perspective, they're going to be back shortly after this for the rest of the team-up, so why not just have them stay? I'm willing to forgive it though, just because it was great to see everyone back. I also have to commend this season on having very thorough setup for the team-up. It looks like Chip Lynn realized that they made some mistakes with Dimensions of Danger and made sure to fix them, and I'm impressed. So what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.